human saved the alien king's lovely daughter and was granted an unexpected gift. Now, as a young engineer aboard the research vessel Aurora, he was finally living his dream. The ship hummed softly as it traveled through the galaxy, carrying its small but dedicated crew on a mission to explore uncharted planets and study new forms of life. The latest assignment had brought them to a beautiful, unknown star system, a place of shimmering planets and floating dust clouds that sparkled like diamonds in the darkness. Ethan's heart raced as the Aurora approached a planet covered in lush greenery, shining rivers, and glowing crystal formations that stretched high into the sky. "Ethan, are you seeing this?" called Captain Leora, her voice calm but filled with awe. "I see it," Ethan replied, gripping the railing of the observation deck. "It's unlike anything we've ever seen before." The crew spent hours mapping the planet's surface, scanning for signs of life. Ethan volunteered to lead a small expedition team to the planet's surface. He loved hands-on exploration, and the chance to walk on an untouched world filled him with excitement. As their shuttle descended through the planet's atmosphere, Ethan noticed strange shapes in the distance. Towering structures made of crystal reflected sunlight in dazzling colors. Between the structures moved figures, slender, tall, and elegant, with smooth, luminous skin and eyes that shone like gemstones. The beings moved gracefully, as if they were part of the planet itself. "They're alive," whispered one of the crew members. "Yes," Ethan said, his eyes wide, "and I think they're intelligent." The shuttle landed softly near a large crystal formation. Ethan and his team stepped out, their boots crunching against the glittering ground. The air smelled sweet, like flowers and fresh rain mixed together. Birds, or at least creatures that resembled birds, flew overhead, their wings reflecting the sunlight. "This is incredible," Ethan whispered, taking a careful step forward. "We might be the first humans to ever set foot here." As the team ventured further, Ethan noticed movement in the distance. A figure ran along a narrow path between the crystal towers. Something about the figure seemed off. Ethan squinted, focusing. The figure was smaller than the others, moving quickly, almost as if it were running from something. Without thinking, Ethan began to run toward the figure. He couldn't explain why, but something inside him told him that this being needed help. As he approached, he realized it was a young alien female, not much older than him in appearance. Her glowing eyes widened with fear as she tried to escape. Suddenly, she stepped onto a part of the crystal floor that was weak. The ground gave way slightly, trapping her foot. She cried out, a sound both musical and urgent. Ethan's heart leapt. "Hold on, I'm coming," he shouted. Using all his strength and quick thinking, Ethan carefully grabbed her hand and helped her out of the trap. She stumbled but didn't fall, and for a moment they both stood there, catching their breath. "Are you okay?" Ethan asked. The alien looked at him, her eyes wide and full of surprise. "You saved me," she said in a soft, melodic voice. Ethan nodded. "Yes, you were in danger." "Are you hurt?" She shook her head. "I thank you. I am Liara, daughter of the king." Ethan blinked. The king, the ruler of this world. He could hardly believe his luck. "I'm Ethan," he said. "I'm human. I come from a planet called Earth." Liara looked at him with curiosity and a hint of admiration. "A human from so far away, you are brave." Before Ethan could respond, a group of elegant guards appeared, moving quickly but without aggression. They stopped in front of him, their glowing weapons at the ready, but their posture was more curious than threatening. "Father," Liara said, stepping forward, "this human, he helped me." The guards exchanged glances, then lowered their weapons slightly. A tall, regal figure approached from the crystal towers. His presence was commanding, yet gentle. He wore robes that shimmered like the surface of a calm lake under sunlight, and his eyes were bright, intelligent, and kind. "You saved my daughter?" the king asked, his voice deep and melodic. Ethan straightened. "Yes, your majesty, she was in danger and I couldn't just leave her." The king studied him for a long moment. Then slowly a smile appeared on his face. "Courage and kindness are rare, even in the universe's greatest explorers. You have both. Come, human, walk with me." Ethan followed, amazed, as they walked through streets lined with luminous crystal towers. The city shimmered with colors he couldn't name, and he could hear soft music, like wind chimes but more beautiful, flowing through the air. Aliens moved gracefully around them, some pausing to look at Ethan with curiosity. "I have never seen a human before," the king said. "Tell me of your world." Ethan spoke of Earth, its oceans, mountains, cities, and people. He explained how humans explored space driven by curiosity and a desire to learn. Liara listened, eyes shining with wonder. "You have a kind heart, Ethan," she said quietly. "You risked yourself to save me. Many of my people would not have done the same." Ethan felt a warm sense of pride, though he didn't fully understand why. He had acted instinctively, not thinking of reward or recognition. Yet the gratitude in Liara's eyes made him feel that he had done something meaningful. As they approached the palace, Ethan noticed enormous gardens filled with glowing plants, streams of liquid light, and creatures that seemed almost magical. The palace itself was a masterpiece of crystal and light, shining like a beacon. Inside, Ethan was introduced to the royal court. The assembly was filled with alien scholars, engineers, and advisors, all observing him with interest. Some whispered among themselves, clearly surprised by the human's appearance and abilities. "You have come at a special time, Ethan," the king said. "There are challenges our kingdom faces, problems we cannot solve alone. Perhaps your presence is not mere coincidence." Ethan listened intently. "I will do whatever I can to help your majesty." Liara smiled at him. "I think you will teach us much, Ethan, and perhaps we will learn much from you." The king nodded. "Courage, intelligence, and kindness are gifts that transcend worlds. Let us see how you will use them." Ethan spent the rest of the day exploring the palace with Liara as his guide. She showed him the city's energy system, powered by the crystals that covered the planet, and the way her people lived in harmony with technology. Ethan marveled at the balance they had achieved, technology serving life, not dominating it. As night fell, the city lit up with soft, glowing lights. Ethan stood on a balcony, looking out over the crystal towers and the shimmering gardens. Liara joined him, silent for a moment. "You were brave today, Ethan," she said. "Not everyone would risk themselves for another." Ethan shrugged, feeling a little shy. "I just did what felt right." Liara smiled, her eyes reflecting the glowing city. "Sometimes that is enough to change the course of worlds." Ethan didn't fully understand her words, but he felt their truth. He had come to this planet as an explorer, curious about the stars. But now he realized that being human meant more than curiosity. It meant courage, kindness, and the ability to act even when the outcome was uncertain. As he prepared for sleep that night in the guest chambers of the palace, Ethan thought about the adventure that lay ahead. He had met an alien princess, been welcomed by a king, and glimpsed a world beyond anything he had imagined. And yet, deep inside, he sensed that this was only the beginning. His choices, his courage, and his humanity would soon be tested in ways he could never have predicted. For now, though, he allowed himself a moment of peace, knowing that he had made a difference, that he had acted with heart, and that the universe had already begun to notice the quiet strength of one human. And somewhere in the Crystal City, Liara whispered a silent thanks, knowing that this human, brave, clever, and kind, would forever change her world and perhaps, one day, the galaxy itself. Ethan woke to soft beams of sunlight filtering through the crystal windows of the palace. Guest chamber. The light scattered into brilliant rainbows across the walls, making the room feel like it belonged to a dream. For a moment, he simply lay there, marveling at the beauty of this alien world. Each day on this planet brought him a new wonder, and he felt a strange mixture of awe and excitement. A gentle knock at the door interrupted his thoughts. "Ethan, are you awake?" Liara's melodic voice called. "Yes, I'm up," he said, scrambling to his feet. He opened the door to find her waiting, her bright eyes reflecting curiosity and warmth. "Good morning," he said. Liara smiled. "Come with me. The king wishes to meet you properly today. He is most interested in your thoughts about our world." Ethan nodded, adjusting his shirt. He had no idea what to expect. The day before had been extraordinary, but today felt like it could change everything. They walked through the palace halls, which seemed to pulse with life. Crystals embedded in the walls glowed softly, illuminating their path with colors that shifted like liquid rainbows. Around them, palace staff moved gracefully, tending to gardens, arranging glowing lanterns, and carrying trays of fragrant fruit that smelled sweeter than anything on earth. When they reached the main hall, Ethan's breath caught in his throat. The room was enormous, a vast space with ceilings that reached impossibly high, dotted with crystal chandeliers that shimmered like starlight. At the far end of the hall sat the king, his presence both regal and gentle. Around him were advisors, scholars, and diplomats, all watching with interest as Ethan approached. "Ethan," the king said, his voice calm yet commanding, "Welcome to my palace. Your actions yesterday were most impressive. You showed courage, quick thinking, and kindness, all qualities that are rare even among our best citizens." Ethan bowed respectfully. "Thank you, Your Majesty. I only did what I thought was right. I never imagined it would lead me here." The king nodded, studying him intently. "Curiosity and courage often lead to the greatest discoveries. But tell me, what drives your people, humans, to explore the stars? Why do you leave your home to seek the unknown?" Ethan thought for a moment. "I think humans are curious by nature. We want to learn, to understand, and to connect with other worlds. We believe that knowledge and friendship are worth the risk of venturing into the unknown." Liara watched him with wide eyes. She could sense the honesty and warmth in his words. "He speaks truly," she said softly. "Humans are brave in ways we often cannot imagine." The king's expression softened. "Indeed, your words echo the principles we value here: harmony, understanding, and respect for life. But there is more to our world than beauty and wisdom. Challenges arise, even in the most advanced societies." One of the advisors, a tall alien with glowing blue markings on his arms, spoke. "Father, perhaps we should be cautious. Humans are unpredictable. We know little of their world or their ways." The king raised a hand and the room fell silent. "True, they are different, but difference is not weakness. It is the spark of potential. Ethan has already proven himself through action, not words alone." Ethan felt a mixture of nervousness and pride. He had come to this world as a visitor, yet here he was, standing in a royal court, recognized and respected. It was overwhelming, yet he could sense that he was being treated fairly and with genuine curiosity. The king gestured toward a large, glowing map of the galaxy projected above the hall. "This world, like yours, is connected to many others. Knowledge flows through the stars, and sometimes a single act of courage can ripple across countless worlds." Liara stepped closer to Ethan. "You have already begun to change things here," she whispered. "Even yesterday, your actions showed that humans can be trusted." Ethan smiled, though he felt a little shy under the gaze of the court. "I just want to help and learn," he replied. The king's expression grew thoughtful. "There is an artifact, ancient and powerful, that has been kept within our palace for centuries. It is said to grant wisdom, resilience, and understanding to those who prove themselves worthy. Many have tried, but few have been prepared to receive its gift." Ethan's eyes widened. "A gift? For me?" The king shook his head. "Not yet, but courage and wisdom often walk hand in hand. First, you must understand our world, its energy, its history, and its challenges. Only then can the artifact be offered to you." Over the next few hours, Ethan and Liara explored the palace together. She showed him gardens that glowed at night, filled with plants that pulsed gently with light. Streams of liquid crystal flowed alongside pathways, reflecting colors that seemed to shift with every step. Strange, beautiful creatures wandered through the gardens, some hovering in midair as if defying gravity. "They are harmless," Liara explained. "They live in harmony with the energy of the crystals. Our people believe that life and energy must coexist in balance." Ethan knelt to observe a small creature, its body translucent and sparkling. "It's like a living gemstone," he said. "I've never seen anything like it." Liara smiled. "There is much to learn here. That is why I will guide you. Our world has secrets, patterns, and energies that are unfamiliar to humans, but I believe you can understand them." As they walked, Ethan asked about the people of this planet. "Your society, how did it come to live in such harmony with technology?" Liara's eyes sparkled. "We have always believed that technology should serve life, not control it. Our ancestors learned to listen to the energy of the planet and to shape their inventions around it, not the other way around. It is a lesson humans may also value someday." Ethan nodded thoughtfully. He could see that there was much he could learn, not only about alien technology, but also about values, balance, and cooperation. Later, they returned to the palace's central hall, where the king was waiting. "Ethan," he said, "our world faces challenges, small but significant. Energies shift, and balance must be maintained. Perhaps your fresh perspective can help us see solutions we have overlooked." Ethan listened carefully as the king explained the recent disturbances in the city's energy grid. Crystals that powered buildings had begun fluctuating unexpectedly, causing minor malfunctions and confusion. No one had yet found the cause. "I would like to help," Ethan said. "I may be from another world, but I can observe patterns, analyze systems, and test solutions. Maybe together we can find a way to stabilize the energy." The king's eyes brightened. Indeed, that is why I have invited you here. A new mind, unbound by tradition, can sometimes see what others cannot. But remember, courage alone is not enough. You must also use wisdom and patience. Liara squeezed Ethan's hand lightly. I will help you every step of the way. We can combine what you know of human technology with what I understand of our energy systems. Together, we might succeed. Ethan smiled. I'm glad you're with me, Liara. I don't know what I would do without your guidance. As evening fell, the palace transformed. The crystal towers outside glowed with warm light, and the gardens shimmered under a sky filled with unfamiliar constellations. Ethan stood on a balcony, reflecting on the day. He had met a king, seen a world of unimaginable beauty, and formed a friendship with an alien princess. And yet, he knew the journey ahead would test him in ways he could not yet imagine. Liara joined him, her eyes reflecting the shimmering city. Tomorrow, she said softly, we begin to study the energy disturbances. You will see firsthand how our world works and why it requires balance. Ethan nodded. I'm ready. I want to learn everything I can. I want to help. Liara smiled, her voice barely above a whisper. Then let us begin, for our world, and perhaps yours, depends on it. As the night deepened, Ethan gazed at the stars above, feeling a connection not only to his own world but to this new one. He realized that being human was more than just existing. It was about curiosity, courage, and the willingness to step forward, even into the unknown. And somewhere in the palace, the king watched, his eyes thoughtful. He had seen many beings in his long life, but few had the combination of courage, wisdom, and kindness that this human displayed. Perhaps, he thought, this visitor from another world was the one the prophecy had spoken of, a guardian, a friend, and a bridge between worlds. Ethan drifted to sleep that night with a sense of purpose. He did not yet know the full scope of the challenges that awaited him, but he was ready. With Liara by his side and the king's trust behind him, he felt that anything was possible. Tomorrow would bring new lessons, new discoveries, and new adventures. But for now, he allowed himself a moment of peace, knowing that he had taken the first steps on a journey that could change the fate of worlds. The morning sun bathed the crystal city in soft golden light as Ethan and Liara stepped out into the palace gardens. The air was filled with a gentle hum, the energy of the planet flowing like a quiet river through the glowing plants and crystalline pathways. Today, they would begin investigating the unusual energy disturbances that had been troubling the city. Liara led Ethan to a circular platform in the center of the gardens. Embedded in the platform were small crystals that glimmered in response to their presence. These crystals are part of our city's energy network, Liara explained. They connect every building, every device, and even the environmental systems. When they fluctuate unexpectedly, it affects everything. Ethan knelt to examine one of the crystals closely. Its surface pulsed gently with light, and he noticed a pattern that repeated at irregular intervals. It's like a heartbeat, he said thoughtfully, but something is off rhythm. Liara nodded. Exactly. Our engineers have tried to stabilize it, but the pattern is too unpredictable. That is why I thought your perspective might help. Humans often notice patterns where others cannot. Together, they began testing and observing, taking careful notes of the crystals, reactions to light, touch, and sound. Ethan was amazed at how sensitive the system was, reacting to the smallest changes in energy. He realized that the planet itself seemed to be alive in a way, and its energy responded to the intentions and emotions of those nearby. As they worked, Liara shared stories of her people's history. Long ago, our ancestors discovered the flow of energy within the planet. They learned to guide it, to harmonize with it rather than control it. Our cities, our technology, even our gardens, everything is connected through this flow. Ethan listened intently. It's incredible. On Earth, we have technology, but it rarely feels alive. You've managed to make it part of life itself, Liara smiled. It is not always easy. Balance must be maintained, and now that balance is threatened. Just as Ethan was about to respond, a subtle vibration ran through the ground beneath them. The crystals on the platform flickered in response. Liara's eyes widened. The disturbances are growing stronger, she said. We need to investigate further. They decided to venture deeper into the city's energy grid. A series of tunnels beneath the crystal towers held conduits and channels through which the planet's energy flowed. Ethan had never seen anything like it. The walls glowed softly, veins of light running like rivers through stone and crystal. Here the flow is concentrated, Liara explained. If we can find the source of the irregularities, we might be able to stabilize the entire system. As they walked, Ethan noticed that the light patterns were not entirely random. They seemed to respond to movement, sound, and even thought. He began to sketch diagrams, mapping the flow as best he could. Suddenly, the crystals ahead pulsed wildly, and a soft humming filled the tunnel. Liara stopped. "Something is interfering," she said cautiously. "It is not natural. Someone or something is altering the flow." Ethan's curiosity sharpened. "Do you think it's deliberate?" Liara nodded. "Perhaps, but who would want to disrupt our harmony, and why?" They continued, moving carefully through the tunnels, following the pulsing light like a trail. The deeper they went, the more Ethan realized that this disturbance was spreading, affecting not just the city but the surrounding areas. Crystals in nearby gardens flickered, and small creatures that lived among the plants began to react nervously. At the heart of the tunnels, they found a chamber filled with ancient devices, some of which were powered by the same crystal energy that flowed through the city. Liara pointed to a large, central crystal that shimmered irregularly. "This is the core," she explained. "It regulates the energy of the entire city. If something is disrupting it, everything connected to it will be affected." Ethan knelt beside the core, examining its surface. The energy patterns were complex, unlike anything he had seen on Earth. Yet after careful observation, he noticed subtle irregularities, small, deliberate disruptions in the flow. "Someone is tampering with it," he said, "and not by accident." Liara's eyes widened. "But who could do such a thing? Our council is loyal and the city is protected. Only someone very skilled could interfere without being detected." Ethan considered the possibilities. Maybe it's not someone here in the city. Perhaps it's a signal or a device from outside, something we haven't discovered yet. They began investigating further, tracing the irregularities through the tunnels and into smaller channels. Ethan realized that understanding the pattern of the disruption could help them predict the next fluctuations. He began connecting his observations to Liara's knowledge of the planet's energy flow. Hours passed, and the sun began to set outside. The tunnels glowed softly in the dim light, and Ethan's sketches grew into detailed diagrams. Liara watched him work, impressed by how quickly he understood the complex system. "You are extraordinary, Ethan," she said. "Your mind sees connections that even our scholars might miss." Ethan smiled modestly. "I just try to observe carefully and think logically. The system is incredible. It almost guides me in the right direction." As they continued, Ethan noticed something else. Hidden among the irregularities were symbols etched into the crystal walls. They glowed faintly, pulsing with the energy flow. "These symbols," Ethan said, "they look like some kind of language." Liara's eyes widened. "Ancient runes, our ancestors used them to communicate with the energy, but these are not part of any pattern I know." Ethan touched one of the glowing symbols. A faint image appeared in the crystal, like a memory trapped in light. It showed a vision of a human-like figure standing near the city, connected to the crystal energy. Ethan realized the figure in the vision resembled him. "Liara, this looks like a prophecy," he said, his voice low. "It shows a human helping your city. Could it be me?" Liara gasped softly. The ancient text spoke of a guardian from afar, someone not of our world who would arrive in a time of need. "Could you be the one?" Ethan's mind raced. He had never believed in prophecies before, yet the vision was unmistakable. The core of the city, the disturbances, and now this, everything seemed connected. Before they could discuss further, the core pulsed strongly, sending waves of energy through the tunnels. The walls glowed brighter, and a soft hum filled the chamber. Ethan instinctively reached out, using his understanding of patterns to stabilize the energy flow temporarily. "It works," Liara exclaimed. "You can interact with the energy." Ethan focused, feeling the subtle pulses of the planet's power. He realized that with careful attention and thought, he could guide the energy back toward balance. It was as if the planet itself recognized his presence and responded to his intentions. Liara watched in awe. "You are more connected than I ever imagined." Perhaps this is why the prophecy spoke of a human as a guardian. Your mind, your heart resonates with the planet. Ethan felt a sense of responsibility he had never known before. This was no longer just an adventure. Lives, the city, and perhaps the planet itself depended on his actions. Yet, despite the weight of the task, he felt ready. He had courage, curiosity, and a willingness to act, and that he realized might be enough. As night fell, they left the tunnels, taking the core's energy back to a safe, stable state for the moment. The city above glowed softly, its harmony restored for now, but Ethan knew that this was only the beginning. The source of the disturbances remained a mystery, and the symbols hinted at challenges yet to come. Liara and Ethan sat together in the palace gardens, gazing at the sky. The stars above seemed familiar yet distant, reminding them that worlds were vast and full of secrets waiting to be discovered. "You've already done more than I imagined," Liara said softly. "But the prophecy, we must be careful. There may be forces at work that we cannot see yet." Ethan nodded. "I understand, but whatever comes, we'll face it together. I've learned so much from you and your people. I'll do everything I can to protect this city and help maintain balance." Liara smiled, a quiet warmth in her eyes. "Then perhaps this prophecy is true. Perhaps you are the guardian we have been waiting for." Ethan felt a strange mix of excitement and humility. He had never imagined that a simple act of helping someone in danger could lead to this. A journey that connected worlds, awakened ancient prophecies, and revealed a hidden threat that only he could help confront. And as the night deepened, with the city glowing peacefully around them, Ethan realized that being human meant more than curiosity or courage. It meant the ability to act, to learn, to adapt, and to care. And perhaps that was why he had been brought here, to show that even one human, guided by kindness and wisdom, could make a difference in the vastness of the universe. Tomorrow, he knew, would bring new discoveries, new challenges, and the first steps towards solving the mystery of the hidden threat. But for now, he allowed himself a moment of quiet reflection, knowing that his journey had only just begun. The next morning, Ethan awoke to the gentle hum of the Crystal Palace. The energy of the planet seemed unusually vibrant, yet he could feel a tension in the flow that made his chest tighten. Liara had already arrived, waiting in the guest chamber with her usual serene expression, though he noticed a hint of worry in her eyes. "Good morning," she said softly. "The disturbances have grown stronger overnight. The core is fluctuating in ways we haven't seen before." Ethan rubbed his eyes and took a deep breath. "Then today we have to do more than just observe. We need to stabilize it at the source." Liara nodded. "Yes, the core is at the heart of the energy network beneath the city. We will go together, but you must be careful. The energy flows can be unpredictable." They prepared for their journey, gathering a few devices used to monitor and amplify the crystal energy. Ethan studied the instruments carefully, noting how they measured fluctuations and channeled energy safely. It was a delicate balance. One wrong adjustment could cause a ripple effect across the city. As they descended into the tunnels beneath the Crystal City, Ethan noticed the subtle differences in the energy flow. The air shimmered with the vibrations of power, and the walls glowed in rhythm with the currents. Some sections of the tunnels were dim, as if the crystals themselves were wary, while others pulsed with brilliance, alerting them to areas of strong energy. "This is deeper than we went yesterday," Ethan remarked. "The energy is almost alive here." Liara nodded. "It is. The deeper you go, the more the planet's consciousness becomes tangible. It responds to our intentions and emotions. That is why you, a human, can resonate with it. Your heart is calm, yet determined, qualities that guide the flow." As they moved further into the labyrinth of tunnels, the vibrations intensified. Ethan could feel the subtle pull of the energy, tugging at his mind, almost as if the planet itself were testing him. Finally, they arrived at the core chamber, a vast, circular space filled with enormous crystals spiraling toward a central crystal that glowed with pure light. Ethan's breath caught. The chamber seemed alive, breathing, and humming with immense energy. "The core," Liara whispered. "It regulates the entire city. If we do not stabilize it, the disturbances will worsen. You must be the one to guide it." Ethan approached the central crystal, studying its patterns. The irregular pulses he had seen before were stronger now, and the core's light flickered unevenly. He realized that the fluctuations were like a puzzle, chaotic at first glance, but with a pattern hidden within. "You have done well to come this far," Liara said gently. "Focus. Listen to the rhythm. Feel the energy. It will guide you if your mind and heart are aligned." Ethan closed his eyes and concentrated. Slowly, he began to sense the flow of energy as a subtle wave moving through the crystals. Each pulse carried information, a rhythm he could follow. He extended his hands toward the core, imagining the energy moving smoothly, harmoniously, and with purpose. At first, nothing seemed to change. Then, gradually, the central crystal responded, its light stabilizing for a brief moment. Encouraged, Ethan adjusted his focus, feeling the flow of energy weaving around him, responding to his intentions. The chamber thrummed softly, a sound like a heartbeat, steadying as he synchronized with the pulse. Suddenly, a wave of irregular energy surged through the chamber, more intense than anything he had experienced before. The walls glowed violently and some smaller crystals trembled. Liara grabbed his arm to steady him. "You are strong, Ethan," she said. "Do not let fear control you. Trust yourself." Ethan took a deep breath, letting go of fear. He centered himself, remembering everything he had learned about patterns, energy, and the importance of balance. Slowly, deliberately, he guided the surge, redirecting it into the smaller crystals around the core, allowing the energy to distribute evenly. The central crystal pulsed, then glowed with a steady brilliance, filling the chamber with warm, calming light. The vibrations in the tunnels softened, and the irregular hum faded into a smooth, harmonious rhythm. Ethan opened his eyes, amazed. "You did it," Liara whispered, her eyes shining with awe. "The core is stabilized." Ethan smiled, though he felt both exhilarated and exhausted. "It wasn't just me. You guided me, Liara. Without your knowledge of the energy, I wouldn't have succeeded." Liara shook her head. "No. You are the one who resonated with the core. That is why the prophecy spoke of a human. You have proven yourself." For a moment, they stood in the chamber, bathed in the glow of the central crystal, feeling the quiet strength of the planet's energy. Ethan could sense the pulse of life throughout the city, harmonious and steady once more. But as he prepared to leave the chamber, the central crystal shimmered, and a faint, holographic image appeared above it. It showed a vision of the city, the tunnels, and the energy flows, along with symbols he had never seen before. The symbols seemed to float, pulsing in time with the core's light. Liara studied the projection closely. "These are warnings," she said. "They are ancient markings, messages left by our ancestors. They tell of disturbances that could return if the balance is disrupted again. But they also tell of the one who will guide the energy, a human with a calm heart and a clear mind." Ethan realized that the planet itself, or perhaps the ancient technology embedded in the crystals, was acknowledging him. He had become part of the planet's balance, a guardian connecting two worlds. Suddenly, a subtle vibration ran through the chamber again, though much weaker than before. It was a reminder. The planet's energy was alive, and even small changes could affect the entire system. Ethan knew that he would need to remain vigilant, using both his knowledge and his intuition to maintain harmony. Liara placed a hand on his shoulder. "You have faced your first trial, Ethan, but there will be more. The energy is vast, and the world is alive. You must learn to work with it, not against it." Ethan nodded. "I understand, and I want to learn. Whatever it takes, I will protect this city and its people." They returned to the palace, and the king was waiting in the central hall. His eyes sparkled with quiet pride as he observed Ethan. "You have proven yourself," the king said. "Not only with courage, but with wisdom, patience, and understanding. The energy flows in harmony with your actions. This is the first step toward the gift I mentioned, the artifact that grants insight and resilience. You have shown yourself worthy of guidance." Ethan bowed respectfully. "Thank you, Your Majesty. I feel honored, but I still have much to learn." The king nodded. "Indeed. Learning is eternal, but remember this: courage, intelligence, and kindness are the keys to understanding any world, no matter how complex. You have these qualities in abundance." Liara smiled at Ethan. "I always believed you could do it. But seeing you interact with the core, it was more than I imagined. You truly are the guardian." Ethan felt a sense of peace and purpose. He had started his journey as an explorer, curious about distant worlds. Now he understood that being human meant more than curiosity. It meant the ability to act with courage, to think with wisdom, and to care deeply for others. As night fell over the crystal city, the palace gardens glowed softly, the energy flows steady and calm. Ethan and Liara walked together along a path lined with luminous plants and gentle streams of light. "Tomorrow," Liara said, "we will explore the deeper networks of the city's energy and learn more about the artifact. There are lessons hidden within the flow, and I believe you are ready to discover them." Ethan nodded, feeling a quiet excitement. "I'm ready. I want to understand everything I can. I want to help." Liara smiled warmly. "Then the journey continues. And remember, Ethan, even small actions can have great effects. Your courage today preserved the city, and your wisdom will guide its future. Ethan felt a quiet determination. He had faced the first true test of his abilities and had succeeded. But he knew that the ultimate challenge was still ahead, discovering the full potential of his connection with the energy and understanding the artifact that awaited him. For now, though, he allowed himself a moment of reflection, standing beside Liara as they watched the stars shimmer above the crystal city. The journey was far from over, but Ethan understood something important. Being human, with all its curiosity, courage, and compassion, could touch worlds beyond imagination. And somewhere in the palace, the king watched, smiling. He knew that this human, brave, intelligent, and kind, was ready for the next step, a step that could change the destiny of the city, the planet, and perhaps even the galaxy itself. The first light of dawn shimmered across the crystal city, painting the towers in soft shades of gold and pink. Ethan stood at the balcony of the palace, gazing out over the sprawling city. After the trials of stabilizing the energy core, the city now hummed with steady, harmonious life. The streets glowed softly, gardens thrived, and the creatures of the planet moved in joyful patterns, unaware of the chaos that had nearly disrupted their world. Liara joined him quietly, her presence gentle but confident. "The city is at peace again," she said, smiling. "Because of you, Ethan, your courage and wisdom have restored balance." Ethan turned to her, a small smile on his face. "It wasn't just me. Your guidance, your knowledge, everything you taught me helped. I couldn't have done it alone." Liara shook her head. "You didn't just follow instructions. You understood the flow, the energy, and the heartbeat of this planet. That is something very few can do, not even among my people." Before Ethan could respond, the king entered the balcony garden. His robes glimmered softly in the morning light, and his expression carried a mixture of pride and warmth. "Ethan," he said, "today you have proven yourself beyond any doubt. Not only have you saved our city, but you have also shown qualities that make you worthy of a great honor." Ethan felt a mixture of anticipation and nervousness. "An honor, your majesty?" The king gestured for them to follow him into a smaller chamber within the palace. The room was filled with soft light, emanating from a large crystal pedestal at its center. On the pedestal rested a small, radiant object, glowing with an inner light that seemed to pulse in harmony with the energy of the city. "This," the king said, "is the artifact I mentioned before. It has existed for centuries, passed down from one generation to the next. It is not a weapon nor a tool of power. It is a gift, an instrument of insight, knowledge, and resilience. Only one who demonstrates courage, wisdom, and a pure heart can receive it." Ethan approached slowly, unsure what to expect. The artifact's light seemed to reach out to him, warm and welcoming, almost as if it recognized his presence. Liara spoke softly beside him. "It is said that the artifact will reveal knowledge to its bearer, knowledge about the universe, life, and energy itself. It will guide you, Ethan, but it requires someone who is willing to learn, to understand, and to use the knowledge wisely." Ethan took a deep breath. He thought of the journey that had brought him here, the chance meeting with Liara, the dangerous but gentle trap in the crystal forest, the city's energy disturbances, and the prophecy that spoke of a human guardian. Everything led to this moment. "I am ready," he said quietly. "I will use it wisely," the king smiled. "Then place your hands upon it." Ethan extended his hands and touched the smooth surface of the artifact. A warm, tingling sensation spread through his body, and suddenly his mind filled with visions. He saw the intricate flow of energy throughout the city, the harmony between life and technology, and even connections that extended far beyond the planet. He glimpsed distant galaxies, the rhythms of countless worlds, and the beauty of life in its many forms. It was overwhelming, yet calming. Ethan understood things he had never imagined possible. Patterns, flows, and connections became clear, not just in the alien city, but across the universe itself. He felt a responsibility to share this understanding, to use it to help both his world and this one. Liara watched him closely. "Do you feel it?" she asked softly. Ethan nodded, his eyes wide. "Yes, I can see how everything is connected. I can feel the energy, the balance, and the way small actions ripple across the universe. It's incredible." The king spoke again. "The artifact has recognized your heart, Ethan. It will continue to guide you, offering knowledge when you are ready to receive it. Remember, wisdom is not simply what you see, it is what you do with it." Ethan looked at the glowing object in awe. He realized that it was more than a gift, it was a responsibility. With it, he could help humanity understand the universe, solve problems, and learn from the wisdom of other worlds. Liara reached out and touched his arm gently. "You are ready, Ethan. Your heart is brave, your mind is clear, and your spirit is kind." This is why the prophecy spoke of a human guardian. Ethan smiled, feeling a warmth in his chest. "I will not let you or the city down." The king nodded approvingly. "I believe you, Ethan, but your journey does not end here. Knowledge grows, challenges will arise, and new worlds will await your understanding. Remember that courage, kindness, and intelligence are your true strengths." Ethan spent the rest of the day learning about the artifact under Liara's guidance. He discovered that it could amplify his understanding of energy flows, analyze complex patterns, and even offer solutions to problems that seemed impossible. Yet, it never replaced thought or effort. It only guided those willing to act wisely. That evening, the city celebrated. The crystal towers glowed brighter than ever, streams reflected the colors of the sunset, and the gentle creatures of the gardens moved with joy. Citizens gathered to honor the human who had saved their world. Though Ethan felt slightly embarrassed by the attention, he could not deny the warmth in his heart. He had made a difference. During the celebration, Liara and Ethan walked through the glowing gardens, sharing stories of their worlds. "You have changed our city," Liara said. "And perhaps one day you will change yours as well." Ethan looked at her, humbled. "I hope I can. I've learned so much from this world, from you, and from the people here. I want to share that knowledge with Earth, to show that humans can learn, grow, and connect with the universe in ways we never imagined." Liara smiled warmly. "I know you will, and you will always have a place here. Your heart belongs not just to your world, but to ours as well." The king joined them, placing a hand on Ethan's shoulder. "Remember this, young human, the universe is vast, but connection is what gives it meaning. Courage, intelligence, and kindness are rare, but when they are used together, even one person can create waves that touch countless worlds." Ethan nodded, feeling the weight and the beauty of those words. He realized that being human was not just about exploring, surviving, or discovering. It was about understanding, helping, and connecting. And he felt ready to do exactly that, wherever the universe might take him next. As the celebration continued, Ethan and Liara sat together, looking out over the glowing city. "Do you think I'm ready to return to Earth?" he asked softly. Liara considered him for a moment. "You are ready, Ethan. You carry knowledge, courage, and wisdom. You also carry a gift that will guide you. Your journey on Earth will be different, but I believe your heart will continue to shine wherever you go." Ethan smiled, feeling a mixture of excitement and gratitude. "I will never forget this place, and I'll never forget you." Liara's eyes sparkled. "And I will never forget you, Ethan. Perhaps one day our worlds will meet again." That night, as Ethan prepared for rest, he held the artifact gently in his hands. Its glow filled the room with warmth, a reminder of everything he had learned and achieved. He understood that the gift was not merely knowledge. It was responsibility, opportunity, and a connection that spanned worlds. Ethan drifted to sleep with a sense of peace. He had faced challenges, solved mysteries, and proven himself not just to the alien city, but to himself. Courage, kindness, and intelligence had guided him here, and they would continue to guide him in the days to come. And somewhere in the palace, the king watched the stars, knowing that this human, one small being from a distant world, had shown the universe the strength of humanity. The artifact glowed softly, in harmony with the city, and the promise of a bright, connected future stretched across the stars. The next morning, Ethan prepared to return to Earth, carrying with him the knowledge, experience, and gift that would forever change his world. Liara and the king accompanied him to the shuttle, their eyes shining with pride and hope. "Farewell, Ethan," the king said. "May your journey continue to bring understanding, friendship, and courage to all the worlds you touch." Liara smiled warmly. "And remember, you always have a home here." Ethan stepped into the shuttle, feeling the artifact safely secured at his side. As the engines powered up and the vessel lifted off the planet, he looked back at the crystal city, its towers glowing like beacons of hope. He realized that being human meant more than exploration. It meant the ability to change the universe, one brave, kind, and thoughtful action at a time. And with that thought, Ethan set his course for home, ready to share the lessons of courage, intelligence, and kindness, and carrying an unexpected gift that would connect worlds for generations to come.